This episode of TRS is brought to you by Mog. Today on the show, we check out the new PC game, Witcher 2.
Talking about The Witcher 2, which is a big, epic PC role-playing game, the kind of games they used to make when I was a kid, and they're still making in Poland because Polish developer CD Projekt is the guys that made the first Witcher, and now they've followed it up with The Witcher 2. And The Witcher is a character that was actually based on a series of novels in Poland. And he's your basic badass. He's got 2 swords, one for monsters, that's a Witcher silver sword, one for regular folk. So don't mess with him.
Especially if you're a regular folk.
He loves the ladies. There's some serious love scenes. This is a mature game, earns its M rating in a number of ways. But it's also, I think, a very dense, complex narrative. And Daniel...
Yes, Jeffrey.
I'm wondering what you think of The Witcher 2. I don't think any of us played the first Witcher. I didn't.
No.
I remember recommended it a bunch of times. I never got around to it.
I almost played it in downtimes because there's like sales on it, and it's supposed to be this great top-rated thing.
It's the kind of game I love, and I'm sad that I never played it. What did you think of the sequel, having not played the first?
Like, I'm tempted at times to say this game is freaking great. But I had so many frustrating moments that made me mad at the people who made the game in a personal way, you know? That like, I mean, jokingly, but like, oh boy. First of all, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. We so often on our PCs play massively multiplayer online games that don't get to indulge in graphics the way this game does.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to be able to play it on the ultra settings.
Yeah, I started there and I was chugging a little bit, so I had to take it back a little bit. But even so, just beautiful. I often make the comment of, I hate that we're all in the same location over and over in Dragon Age. It's very similar to Dragon Age, by the way, this game. But not, and it also makes, it's not all gray world. It's like when I'm in the woods, the sun is streaking through the trees and it's gorgeous. At night, there's a great night look. Like it's all great. Story, I love for the most part. It's a very, like, it's not about high politics. It touches upon it a little bit, but in a very like a man on a mission way. Yeah. It's the man on a mission movie inside the world of high politics. So it's not all about King Fem and dum. There's names, there's some of that stuff, but for the most part, I feel like there's curse, it's all grounded.
You can follow the main through line and the other stuff. If you want to get into it, is there, but if you don't care or can't process that, you don't need it.
It has a very popcorn through line to it and a good entry point where it doesn't start and I'm all like crazy great. It starts in a very cinematic way that roots me in the story better than the last couple of Dragon Ages have, or maybe some of the other games I forget that we reviewed, role-playing games. Combat system, fun to play a game like this where I'm really doing combat sword play, that I'm like, it's not just tapping buttons, it's like really good stuff. However, oh my God, were there moments that I had to play over and over and over and over again because I didn't memorize the pattern perfectly.
The boss fight
the boss fight, I could not memorize. Once I memorized it, and there was more to do, and whenever there was a little bit more to do, I now have to go back and do everything because I hadn't memorized that part to it. There was no skill. It was all just memory, muscle memory, whatever it is.
Specifically that K-Ran boss fight.
That K-Ran boss fight, exactly. Before then, it was very challenging just pulling off the dexterity fighting, which is in some ways good, but not balanced enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. I had fun with the story. I thought, I was like, oh wow, this is a way to get me absorbed into this sort of like high concept stuff, treason's happening, but I'm just a guy who was sort of in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now I've got to fix that. and that's my goal. This other stuff is happening. I don't know who's the father of who or who's in what bastard whatever, and I don't need to know it because I'm going after that guy because I'm screwed if I don't get that guy. So that I like that single-mindedness.
It evolves past that at a certain point, but yeah.
Definitely, but 25% in, still about that. I mean, it is a big
It's
RPG.
a huge game. Yeah.
Couple things. Obviously, graphics amazing. Biggest disappointment is you're a sword guy. I don't like playing sword guys. So now.
Well, you have magic, you have throwing things, you have grenades, you
Yeah,
have
but
traps.
none of that is above swords. That's you have 5. Oh, you ran out. Okay, guess what? You're a sword guy. You know, you have magic. I have 2 pips. Unless I start going into the magic thing, and maybe if I become the magic thing at the end of the game, I'll feel kind of like a mage. But at the end of the day, it's like I like to roll the archer. You know what I mean? I want to play a mage.
You like God of War?
Yeah, but that is really what this is. But
Yeah.
God of War isn't really an RPG. It's not where I get my RPG nut off of. It's like, hey, it's a hack and slash with a little bit of RPG element. Cool. But if I'm playing an RPG and I'm leveling stuff, leveling swords is like, so that was a little bit put offy. Man, I had a problem with the combat system. Boy, oh boy, I thought it was just bad. Here's why. It had there were great ideas in it, but the execution was horrible. So there was lag when you would pull block. If you hadn't finished the last swing, you're not blocking.
No, I think what you experienced was that blocking costs vigor. So if you've used up your vigor, you can't block anymore.
You mean, isn't vigor mana?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, but that's how it works.
So
you can't.
blocking costs mana?
Yeah.
Wait,
That-
what do you
see,
mean,
that-
mana? A pip? Or
Vigor. Yeah, the little pips.
The 2 pips?
Well,
Are
I
you
have
sure
4,
about that?
but
Because
yes.
I could always,
that's why I was fucking up.
then block. It just wasn't instant. It was like I would be
It
fighting.
doesn't take an
I'd be
entire pip's
fighting.
worth.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. You may very well be right.
I am.
Oh, okay. But whatever the reasoning was, the symptom was, the game is almost unplayable. There were a majority of times where if it was more than one person, I would die. Period. There
Yeah.
was no way around that.
Well-
And then I would roll out of, and so basically this game just became a measure of stab, roll out of the way, use the shield thing, stab, roll out of the way, and that's just not that fun.
Wait,
Where
let me-
all the other RPGs, you have all this other stuff you can do, and there's
But
it
I think
shows
that's
the shades.
that's exactly I think the emphasis in this game, and it's interesting because backwards to most games, this game is very difficult at the beginning, and it gets really easy as you your guy gets more powerful, you're able to dispatch people no problem. I mean, once you unlock the finishers, I have group finishers where I can take down 3 guys with one.
Sweet.
When you get adrenaline and everything.
Yeah.
So you take down 3 guys with pushing 1 button.
Yeah.
The beginning, your guy is not very powerful, and it forces you to use traps, magic, grenades, all those things that in most games you can be like, well, I can just sort of ignore that until boss fight or whatever. In this game, at the beginning, you really need to rely upon that, which is interesting because it forces you to make those things, which means it makes resources in the game important. And I was kind of really digging on that. Yes, like you guys, I died a lot at the beginning, and I tend to get frustrated with games very quickly. But it forced me to change up my tactics, and you can't just rush in and mash the button.
Yeah.
You have to take guys out and trap one and take out another, and that's awesome. But then midway through chapter 2, you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just I can just take down dudes, and I'm like, I lost all that until you get to the boss fights. Those boss fights are brutal. The Letho boss fight, the Draug boss fight. It is like I'm trucking through the game, and then I get murdered 14, 15 times, and I'm reloading and doing it.
Nothing fun about that.
No.
I agree.
No.
Why not make it fun? What does this bring to anyone's table?
I agree. I like the tactical, forcing you to be like, you have to use a trap. You have to use a grenade, or you're going to die. That's interesting to me. I like this game a lot. It is that rich, deep, interesting world. And I like playing games when I'm into something else that are similar.
Yeah.
And I'm loving Game of Thrones, TV show so much, love the book so much. This game reminds me a lot of that, and it's because you get into those political things as the story progresses.
I just wish they had other classes. I would love to
hear
have
ya.
played this as an archer. I would love to have played this as a mage. The other thing is
as a witcher.
I know, but the other thing is like you talk about like setting up traps and stuff. You only know that there are bad guys when they see you and start running towards you. So it's like,
But you
give me a chance.
I mean, we're all playing with controllers on the PC, which I highly recommend.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it works very well.
Yeah, great.
Anyway, but you can pull the left trigger, it goes into slow-mo.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, what I really wanted to be was like, okay, there are 4 guys, so let me see, I'll equip this trap that I don't have equipped.
And you
That's
have
so
to be
weird.
prepared, you have to take your potions in advance, you can't just pop a health potion. It's a very different kind of combat.
I prefer this to both Dragon Ages now, but I interestingly wish that there was a meeting in the middle where instead of it going to slow mode, it paused so I could really think out my strategy, because that's what it asks you to do in a way, instead of having to be replayed over and over again. Just give me the pause. And I wish I had my magic stuff was a little bit more, I had more options or more of those options so that I could really get freeze this guy, fight this guy, But with the slow-mo mode, it just gets crazy too quick, and I can only pull off one thing, and then...
Yeah,
That's the other thing is casting, and that's why I was thinking. I don't know if what you're explaining solves the symptom of my thing with the vigor, because I had the exact same problem with the casting, which is if you stab somebody and then you're not attacking and you hit the B button, you have to wait for him to like plant in place before you can actually get the B button off.
play out.
Even if you have full pips and all that stuff. So I think it really is a sort of lag moment where it's not.
Let me
Sorry,
talk a little bit more, because we're getting hung up on the combat, which is a big part of the game, but there's so much more to this game. I love the fact that it respects the player in a way that most games don't. I think L.A. Noire, we mentioned, does that, but you have to listen to what people are saying. There are long sections where it's like, prove to me that you're in a lie to this guy, and he asks you to recall specific who's the leader of that thing, and it was just this information that you think can wash over you, but no, you have to remember. There's a section where you have to cast, which is really witchery, where you have to cast a curse, and you have to guide this guy along this path, and you have to know what the picture has to look like in order to create it, and it doesn't tell you any of that. There's so many moments where it forces you to really be thinking, and I love that about this game. And the world is so rich and interesting and full of detail and interesting locations.
That's why I wish that the combat was more enjoyable, because when the combat comes up, it's just like, oh God, here we go again.
I love that it wasn't like combat sequence.
Definitely.
It felt like I was like really just playing out a story, a single story. I wasn't like, it wasn't so open world where I don't know where to go and I can do many things, and even having various characters. Like I kind of like that I'm this guy, and each moment, and now I'm sneaking, now I'm this, now I'm that, and it's all this like, it's fun to be in this world. We don't get games like that in this world.
I agree with you about the Dragon Age thing. I finished Dragon Age 2. I put 60 hours into that game. And I think this game is better.
Oh yeah, well it's so much bigger. It's just nice to walk outside a city and be like in a forest, and like you can walk down to the map. You know what I mean? Like there is something about that you lose in those BioWare RPGs, like the Dragon Age.
Or at least the Dragon Age ones.
I mean, you don't lose it as much with the Mass Effect, because it makes sense with planet-to-planet travel, but it's really great.
I think this is a great game. They're talking about making console versions. It'll be interesting, because I think it's made for that.
I wish it was on.
But it's so beautiful on the PC, man. I highly recommend it. And I think if you can get past those initial hours of frustration, it really does open up. But
it's a lot of hours. All right, everybody, remember to stick around for this day in rad history. But first, Daniel Trachtenberg, our Mog.
I'm what is it? Spaceballs.
half man, half dog. You're your own best friend.
You're on your best
Thank you.
friend.
Thank you for the line. I am that, and I am also here to tell you about the award-winning all-you-can-eat music service that lets you stream unlimited music on the web and on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, and Roku box. I actually use it all the time in my car on my iPhone while I'm driving. Hook it right into my car. Most of you probably have that device. Pretty awesome that you can stream over 11 million songs to choose from.
Whoa.
So whenever I come up with a song that I was like, oh, I wish, that's generally
That'll fill
on
an
Mog.
afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're all there right at your fingertips, and you can unlimitedly download them onto your phone. Unlimitedly. It's a new verb.
Amazing.
It's a new adjective. Coming right
fill
at
in
you.
the blank right there.
That's
Hey.
right. So with Mog, you are free from ads, per track fees, syncing and file storage, subpar audio, and other restrictions that you may experience with programs such as iTunes or Pandora. Mog gives you customizable radio stations, CD quality audio, easy playlist creation, and other awesome features. We actually made a playlist.
We
the
did.
summer playlist. They can
Summertime lovin'.
and Mog also won the best mobile
called
music
Summertime
app
Lovin'.
at the 2010 Billboard App
That'd be some
Awards.
fun.
And has been called #1 by USA Today, Time, TechCrunch, CNET, LA Times, and more. TRS viewers get a 7-day free trial of Mog. No credit card required. I actually think that's a really awesome little knick-knack they put in there. 'Cause
Paddywhack.
Give yourself a credit card.
So check out the service and listen to as much music as you want, including our playlist.
Amazing.
Check it out. It's got some cool songs on it.
So sign up at mog.com/TRS for your 7-day free trial. No credit card required.
Boom. We will see you tomorrow.
Mañana.
Don't miss tomorrow when we're answering your Twitter questions.
Today is May 31st, and on this day in rad history in 1859, Jeff's favorite year, Big
was.
Ben starts keeping time. Rang for the first time in London.
Well, actually, Big Ben.
You've been working on your impression.
No, you do this one. Go ahead, Chevy
You
Chase.
do this one.
Wait, no, you've been telling us about your Big Ben impression.
No, you do the good old.
Well, either way, guys, I actually have
Big Ben.
inform-
Look,
I
Dad,
have-
Big Ben, or whatever.
I
that
actually
is.
have information about that, which is Big Ben is actually the name of the bell. It's not
Yeah.
the name of the clock tower or the clock. So it's sort of like Big Ben rang for the first time in London.
I'm really disappointed you're not doing your
Bing
impression
bong.
that you've been working on
At Sister
for
Infant.
so long.
At Sister Infant, wonderfully sent that in.
Sister Infant, know the time has come. And then you do the bell.
Bong.
well worth the wait.